I'm Dallas Jones. I am Vice President at Ecosense, and I want to welcome everybody who's on the call with us tonight, on the webinar with us tonight. See, we're about at 30 people, so I know taking the time out of your day to come hang out with us for an hour is much appreciated by all of us here at Ecosense, and our special guest, Dave Klima. Dave is experienced in home inspections and pest control and radon mitigation and God knows what else. He's a big fan of Ecosense, and we're a big fan of Dave's. So we're really proud to have you here, Dave. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me, Dallas. And I'm honored that you chose me to be on your webinar and to talk about the Ecosense products and talk about how we use some of those products to, help us grow our business. And real quick, guys, Dallas didn't give himself enough credit. He gave his title with Ecosense, but honest to goodness, you guys are going to get to hear from one of the more experienced, knowledgeable people, in the industry. And Dallas, I think you should give a little background about all the things that you've done in the industry and go back to your days with the associations.
Well, I'll do that quickly. I appreciate that. Back around in the very early 90s, I started another company that manufactured, and we actually leased radon monitors, and we did very well at that for years. But I had a divorce from my business partner back around 2007 and moved on to other things. That happens. And after a few years of doing some other endeavors, I became the executive director of Arston NRPP at the end of 2016. And I served at that post until this past summer, where I retired from there at the end of June. And so I'll tell you kind of why I'm here, and I appreciate you giving me that little segue there. So let me show you something right here, if I can get my slides to go. There we go. So Ecosense is a company that was founded in 2019, and it's a company, and they have a radon sensor that I've been keeping my eye on even before Ecosense was founded. The original sensor, or the sensor that we use, was developed in Korea a few years prior, and that company that manufactures our monitors and developed that sensor is a major shareholder in Ecosense. And I'm so excited to be a part of Ecosense, because after I left NRPP and ARST, I was looking at kind of what I wanted to do, and the technology of this sensor, as well as the good people that are running Ecosense, intrigued me. So after a conversation with Insoo Park, our CEO, I decided to not only become a part of the company, but to become an investor in the company. As are actually most of the people who work here, because we believe in the technology and the company so much. You'll see, we've won the CES Innovation Award in 2021, the Times Best Invention Award. But on today's terms, we're still a startup. We're started in 2019, and but we're shaking up things in this business, and I'm proud to be a part of it. And what really excites me is the technology, and this particular sensor that gets 30 counts per hour per picocurie per liter. What that means is we're seeing 30 radioactive events on average every hour for every picocurie per liter of radon that the detector is being exposed to. So with that kind of a detector efficiency, the RadonEye Pro and the EcoCube and the RadonEye and the EcoTracker, all of our products with the sensor can track changing radon concentrations like very few radon monitors can do. So our hourly readings are meaningful, they're accurate, and that's what I'm so excited about. So that's why I'm part of the company. So I appreciate you asking me that. This particular slide means a lot to me because an AlphaGuard is a Cadillac of radon detection equipment and is not used by professional radon testers out in the field and doing tests in homes. It's used by laboratories, radon chambers, and so forth. It's about a $10,000 instrument. It's made in Germany, and we've done comparisons with our RadonEye sensor against that $10,000 AlphaGuard, and you can see from this graph that it tracks right along with it from 1 hour to the next. So you're getting a really good, high quality sensor in all of our products, and that's something I hope you'll take with you, if nothing else, from the session tonight, if you weren't aware of it already. I'm going to quickly just bring up our lineup, and then I'm going to turn this over to Dave a little bit to do some talking. You can see that we have our RadonEye Pro, which is our NRPP and NRSB approved device. It's on the approved device list. And then we have EcoTracker, which is a diagnostic device, which we can talk about a little more for particularly mitigators. I know Dave's really a fan of that. EcoCube and EcoBlue and RadonEye are consumer continuous radon monitors, and if it weren't for Ecosense, consumers would not have the ability to track real-time radon concentrations in their homes at an affordable price. The pretenders that are out there in that market do not have a sensor that can come anywhere close to being able to read hourly concentrations like ours can. So that's how we've revolutionized what's available to consumers as well as for professionals. So I want to invite all of you, and we'll talk about this a little later, to join our referral club, where you can actually share our devices with your clients and make a little money. Why don't you take a minute, Dave, and share your experience with that?
Yeah, so a couple things before I go on and talk about, the products. Listen, guys, when you get into the radon testing business, and you guys know what it's like to take those classes and pass that test and do your continuing ed. And sometimes it's not easy for some of us to go through all of that, right? And then when you want to get into doing radon mitigations, it's the same thing. You got to take classes, pass tests, do the continuing ed, all that kind of stuff. In some states, you got to get your license. So one of the reasons I like Ecosense products isn't just because of the products, it's because of the people that are working at the company. And I'm telling you right now, there's probably no better resource that you can, tap into than, Dallas. Okay. Having the executive director of ours who not only knows the rules and help probably write or institute some of those rules is invaluable. And there's been a few times where I've called him, and I've been in the industry for a long time, where I've called him and to get his thoughts or opinions on certain things. And he's always answered the phone. He's always emailed me back, called me. I mean, the service is top notch. And then I used to use a different product, which I won't say by name because I don't want to throw anyone under the bus, but their unit broke. Okay. And the service in really their headquarters, or people I was trying to talk to, are overseas, and, to try and get that thing replaced. And basically, they're telling me I was just out of luck. It's just the way the cookie crumbles kind of thing. And so I sold all of those units and started using these Ecosense units. And honest to goodness, after learning more and more about these products, I think they're the most accurate monitors there are in the industry. And if you think about pricing, they're some of the least expensive units around. Okay. And not only are they some of the least expensive units around, but you can basically get those for free. And this is what I mean. And I don't know if you have the link to my referral page, Dallas, if you could pull that up and show people.
Can you see that?
No, it didn't open the it didn't
nope.
open my web page.
You're gonna have to move to the next
I don't know if there's a way for you to open it.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, guys,
let me stop sharing and I'll pull that up. All right.
let's see if you can pull up that web page, because I want to show this to people if we can. If not, they could always, check it out later. But where we're trying to go, guys, is to our Aardvark's referral page, and where we can order monitors, but we can also send our clients to order products and make money. So are you able to pull that up, Dallas?
Yeah, keep talking. I'll get there.
So anyway, this is how you can get these units for free. So in essence, when you become a referral club member and you turn other home inspectors onto these units and they buy the units, you get a fee for that. And obviously, if you refer out enough units, you're going to make enough money where, it pays for your unit. And I don't know, I'm not going to tell everyone, what the price is. Dallas, you might want to tell them, because you may have a different price for people than I do. I don't know if you've changed it, but
Can you see the screen now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, basically, if you want to sign up for our referral club and you're a professional, you have a company website and you're in business, then we're going to set you up in our pro referral club program, where you'll get a 10% commission on everything you sell. We pay out at the end of the month. It comes via PayPal. You don't have to do much of anything other than put a link on your website, which will take them over to a landing page like you're seeing here that we have for Dave.
Right. So, when I, talk about this unit and people want to, buy the unit, let's just stay on that. Let's stay on the top one for a minute, and then we'll scroll down. So let's stay on the RadonEye Pro. So here's the deal, guys. So I'll tell other home inspectors about these units and why I like them or whatever. And then they can go and they get a discount for the unit $755 when they enter that code ICS special at checkout. Now, what's great about that, like Dallas said, is I get 10%. So if I refer to someone and they buy 2 units and another guy buys 2 and another guy buys 2, next thing you know, I've got like $700-800 check written to me. And so it's like I can get a unit for free with that check. Does that make sense? So all of you, if you love these products and you want to spread the word, just tell people, hey, look, you know what? I love this product. Here's my link. I get a 10%, referral fee if you buy it through my link. And then once you're on board with them and you want to sign up for the referral program, you spread the word, you can get a 10% fee. So I really love that product. And I recommend it, not because, it's a way for us just to make money, but I believe in that product more than anything else. Okay. So let's go back up to the tracker now. Let's just take these one at a time.
All right.
So now the tracker, this thing is important. Now, you guys that want to get into doing radon mitigations, I know some of you are on this call because we're going to discuss that a little bit. And we'll talk more about it later about, how to get in the business. Dallas will share some thoughts with you. I'll share some thoughts. We'll talk about marketing the business, all that kind of stuff. But if you're going to get in the business, this is a product that you really want to buy. It's called an EcoTracker, and there's basically 4 units there, okay? And they connect to your app on your phone, and you go and put these out on a radon job, and it's going to help you determine where the hot spots are in the house, right? So you could put one out and, it starts giving, snapshot measurements 5-10 minutes later. And you can see before you actually start busting a hole in the floor where the hottest spots are in the house, where the radon concentration is the highest. And obviously, if you have a high radon concentration level in one area of the house and it's a lot lower somewhere else, well, you may want to put your suction point where it's, the high area. And let me tell you why we bought these. So we were doing a radon system, and normally we can get away with just doing 1 suction point, sometimes 2, okay? So we put in a system, and the radon levels lowered, but they didn't get below the EPA action level. Okay. So we're like, all right, no big deal. We'll put in another suction point. Well, guess what? The radon levels didn't get lowered. So then at that point, I was like, man, this is like poking and hoping. We're poking holes in the floor and hoping it works. So I found out about this product. I'm like, you know what, let's get this product and let's put these, canisters out, these systems out. And so we had them in different parts of the basement. And the two places where we had the suction points, it was like the lowest spot in the basement. On the other part of the basement, it was much higher. And don't ask me why it was like 25 in that part of the basement and only like 4 on the other part. I have no idea, but for whatever reason, that's what we found out with these trackers. So sure enough, we went and put a suction point over where it was the highest and, tied that into the rest of the system, and voila, it worked great. So what we're finding is by using these systems and finding out where the hottest spots are in the basement and putting our suction point in that area, it's helping get the radon levels as low as they can be. And then sometimes, by doing that, you don't have to put in extra suction points. One suction point, takes care of it. So I really love this product. If you're going to get into doing radon mitigations, this is definitely a tool that you should have in your tool bag. Okay. So
yeah, if I could add one thing there, this particular device is the product of input from customers. Okay, so when Dave says he appreciates the Ecosense team, I can relate to that because, and I thank you. But this particular product was developed because people like Bill Broadhead, Jesse Green, Chad Robinson, and some others came and said, wow, you've got these RadonEyes, and the sensor's really good. It could get readings in much quicker than an hour. Could you change the data logger to give us readings in 5-minute intervals or 10-minute intervals, and be able to switch over to 1-hour intervals and make them where we can see four on one app. And that's exactly what we did. So this idea was possible because of the sensor technology, but the idea for coming up with such a valuable tool came from people like you who are working out in the field, particularly some of the most experienced mitigation researchers and longtime mitigators were the ones that came to us to develop this.
Right. So now one thing that I haven't done with this, Dallas, and it's an idea that's popped in my head and other guys might be thinking the same thing. Can you use these on a real estate transaction to produce reports? And what may be valuable, if that's possible, is, say you have a 3-bed or 3-story house. You could put one in the basement, one on the main level, one on the upper level. And now you're producing a report with radon levels on each level of the house.
These units have not gone through the device evaluation process for that, not because they couldn't, but because they've typically been used for diagnostic purposes by mitigators. But it certainly, so if you're going to leave it there for 2 days, it's not really designed to give you the report and so forth. But I hear from mitigators. In fact, I was talking to Jesse Green just the other day, and he was telling me he had a house where he had 4 of these out that he left for a couple of days because he was trying to figure out what was going on in this large, unique, rambling house that had a lot going on. And by having it there where he could, track what's going on in different locations, it was really valuable for him determining, how he was going to tackle, the mitigation system.
Yeah. So from a diagnostic standpoint, that's what we use it for. But just a thought, if you guys are kicking ideas around in the Ecosense office, that maybe a system like this, if guys, if it could produce a report, then they could test different levels of the house if they wanted. Also in a commercial setting, which we might talk about that a little bit more. If we're testing a commercial building and it's a huge building, you got to put out more than one unit, and so having something that would, a system like this where they'd all tie together into kind of one report would be kind of.
We are working on that even as we speak.
Okay. All right. That's awesome. So this is a great tool, guys, a great diagnostic tool to have if you're going to do radon mitigation. So let's go down to the EcoGuard. Now, this thing is so cool. All right. I'm just telling you guys right now, this is a really cool thing. So you can buy this unit, and I'm trying to convince, Dallas with this crazy idea that I have, which we won't go down that rabbit hole. But here's what I love about this program. So this unit is how much is this unit now? Like 125, 132 bucks, right?
Yeah.
All right. Here's what's great about it. So you can buy this unit, you can go take it to a customer's house, set it up to their Wi-Fi, and then you can go back to your office the next day, 2 days later, log into a dashboard on your phone even, and see what the radon levels are in that house. Right? So how cool is that? Now, I don't use these on real estate transactions, but I would use these to help sell a radon mitigation job. And so what we would do is we would buy some of these units. We'd go set it out for the customer and then, charge them a fee like 150 bucks or whatever. And we would do a month-long test with this. Okay. A month-long test. It only cost me 132 bucks. If I just rent it for 1 month, okay, I got my money back. So we do a month-long test. And this is why I want to do a month-long test. As a mitigator, if I only set this unit out for 2 days, it's just going to give me the average level. Okay. And sometimes during that 2-day period, that level might come back at 3.5 or 3.1 or whatever. And the customer is not going to buy a mitigation system because the, action level's under 4.0. Okay. However, sometimes if you let these systems out there for a month, there's going to be days where the weather conditions change the radon levels, and that level could come back at 6.0 for that day or 7.0 for that day, right? And the customer is going to see that. And as a matter of fact, they can log into this and connect on their phone, and they can see the levels themselves on their phone, and they get alerts saying that their levels are high and action is needed. So at the end of the month, I've had this happen. At the end of the month, maybe a test came back at 3.8 or 3.6. And, we're not recommending a system at 3.8 or 3.6, but the customer saw the spikes. They saw the spikes at 10 or 11 or 8 or 9, and they react to the spikes as much as they do the average level. And they're like, I don't care if it's under 4, it's barely under 4. And look at how much it spiked up to. I just want the levels to be as low as possible, right? So we can use this system to do, longer term testing than the short term test. And we're able to sell radon systems with this product because people are reacting to the spikes as much as they are the average radon level. And this thing is so awesome. Now there is like a monthly monitoring fee that you pay with this program, but it's cheap. How much is that fee, Dallas?
It depends on the volume, but it starts at like $2.99 a month.
So
per unit, and this is set up where you can leave them for quite a while. You can see on the photo there that or the graphic there that it comes with a dashboard, so you can have dozens and dozens and of these units out in locations all across town and the state, and you can track them on a dashboard from your office and pull them up, and you can send out a report every 30 days if it'll create a report, a 30-day report, 30-day intervals. You just click on it and send it out.
So, but these aren't units that you're going to use for your real estate testing. It's not really approved for that. It's more a diagnostic tool. People call you and they want a radon test. And they're living in their house. The general public living in their house. This is a product that you can use if you want. And I love this product because I can see the results real time. After that month is up, I could take that unit and use it at a different house. Okay. So keep that in mind. All right. So let's go down to the next thing.
Yeah. I'm going to switch to this one just for a second, just to quickly explain the difference. This one is the same unit, but it doesn't have the the dashboard capability. So this is something you'd go ahead and sell to a client through your referral club. They could have their own unit. They look at everything on their phone. It doesn't give reports, but they can look at the day average, the week average, the month, and the year. And it gives all the trend charts on a graph for any time period you select. So that's similar to the EcoGuard service, but it's not for the pro to be monitoring directly. Although a homeowner can share that app with whoever they want to. So
right now, so the EcoCube, that's a cool product. But I don't recommend that one as much as I do the RadonEye. And the reason why is because the Cube is connecting to Wi-Fi, and the customer, can see the results on their phone via Wi-Fi. I like recommending that they get the RadonEye. Okay, so the RadonEye is similar to the RadonEye Pro, looks the same. The reason why I like this one better is because people can see the digital readout, so they don't have to look at their phone. And let's face it, some people aren't technologically advanced, and they're not good at hooking up Bluetooth or Wi-Fi to devices and all that stuff. So this one's really great. And again, what I tell my clients is, hey, if you want to own your own testing unit, I can get you a really good deal. Just go to my website. So I give them the link to this page. Scroll down, order the RadonEye. It's about $165 when you enter the code ICS special. That's cheaper than you can get it for on Amazon. And that's what I tell them. So I'm assuming that's still the case, right, Dallas?
Yeah.
Right?
If the price goes down much below that on Amazon, then we'll change your landing page as part of the process.
Now, here's what's cool. Again, because they're using my code, I get 10%. So we're getting a $16.50 check for each one of these that go out. But that's not where we make the real money. Where we're making the real money is that these customers have this unit with them forever. Okay. And, as long as they're in that house. And quite often, again, they're reacting to the spikes. And not only does when a spike happens, they kind of get an alert, from Ecosense saying, hey, action's needed, And so a lot of customers, even though their average might be 3.5 or 3.0, or I even had some people, they were in the 2.5 range. They're like, I don't care if it's under the EPA action level. I had a spike at 9, at 10, or 12, whatever the case may be. They're like, I just want my levels as low as possible, right? And then so that leads into a radon job, and our radon jobs are anywhere from $1,200 to $1,800. Every market is a little bit different, and we'll get into how much money you can make doing a radon job and stuff later. But think about this. This is what's so cool. So I get a little bit of money selling the unit or getting people to buy the unit just by giving my link. But then I make way more money when they use me for the radon mitigation. And then after I do the radon mitigation, we do our own test, obviously, to make sure it's working. But then they have that RadonEye there, and they're able to monitor their radon levels. Okay. And I personally think if they own one of those radon levels, that should substitute for an alarm on a system. I don't know how you feel about that, Dallas.
Yeah, it's actually, for example, an EcoCube or this, if it's set up there at the system, then NRPP has said that would act as an active alarm.
Right. Now,
because it certainly will let you know if the system is failing, because it's going to warn you when you will get particularly an EcoCube is going to give you a push notification.
Right.
Letting you know that the concentrations are 4 or higher.
Now, here's the other thing that I like. If you go back to that RadonEye, here's the other thing that I do, just a little trick of the trade, guys. So after that, customers' levels are really good. I know they're going to be good because I do my own test. And sometimes even a couple weeks after the test, the levels keep getting lower and lower. So I always do a follow-up with the customer. And I'm like, hey, it's been about a month since we installed your system. I know you have your RadonEye there. How are things looking? How's your levels looking? And they're always happy that I call them and check in on them. And of course, I know the levels are going to be good, so I'm not worried about a problem. So the levels are great. And I'm like, okay, well, now that you know that the levels are good, you know what you should do with that unit? you should go share that with a neighbor. You should go share it with a neighbor, or you have someone at work that you work with, let them borrow that. And just tell them if it comes back high to give Aardvark a call and we'll take good care of them. And so that's a way for you to, get another radon job by encouraging a past customer to share that RadonEye machine with a friend or family member or a coworker, but also get them to be a maven for you and refer your company out to their friends and family members and coworkers. So I love that. Okay. Now the last one down here. So we'll talk about this. I'm not a huge fan of this, just because you have to go look at it. It's not giving you Bluetooth or Wi-Fi connection. But you know what? Sometimes simple is better for a lot of people. And, so I don't know how many of these people are selling, but this is not really the one that I recommend to people. And I don't think this sends out any kind of push notifications to
No, this one, thank you, we created because there are people that had communicated with us. Well, we really like that EcoCube, what it can do, but we don't like having to be connected to Wi-Fi and having to look at our phone. So, some people don't like having to be connected to Wi-Fi. They're concerned about, that you could be spied on or whatever it is. And some people just like to be able to pass by and have that right in your face. So we created this unit. It gives you the current radon concentration, and on the back is a button that you can scroll through and get the day average, the week average, the month average, and the year average. So you get all of the different time periods and the average for that time period. You don't get the trend charts, and you certainly don't get push notifications or one, but it does have an alert to let you know that you need to be paying attention. So this one, like you said, people have different ideas of what they're looking for. So we're selling a lot of these as well, because people are wanting something, as you said, that's just simple.
Right. So here's my suggestion, guys. If you want to buy these products, don't go and use the ICS special. I don't really care about, the referral fee so much, but maybe what you can do in Dallas, let me know if this is a proper suggestion or not, but can they just go and sign up to be a referral partner, and they get a link, to give to people. And can they use that link to order their own products and then get basically a referral check to themselves? So in essence, making their purchase of a product cheaper?
Absolutely. So you just took the words right out of my mouth. Let me just share this with you.
Are you trying to cost me money before
I'm going to cost you a little money right here. So,
before you get to that, Dallas, we actually have a hand raised here by Don Ingram. So
okay, all right,
yeah,
go ahead, Don. Can you turn his mic on, or do I need to do that?
You might need to do that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let me find Don. I just had him there. Allow to talk. All right, Don, your mic should be on. You still there? Oh.
He's got a mute button on somehow.
You may need to unmute.
Can you unmute him?
No, I have to ask him to unmute, which I did. Donnie, did you find your button? No.
Yes, can you hear me now?
I can now.
Okay, no, it was a mistake. I'm mobile in my car, and it must have bumped the hand symbol.
Oh.
So hey, Don, while we got you on the webinar, let me ask you a question. Where are you located?
We're in Dallas, Texas.
Okay. So that's a good spot to be, because someone on this call lives down there, right?
Yes, and believe it or not, we have radon in Texas. A lot of people don't think there's any radon down here, but we've picked up levels, particularly north of Austin, around 16 picocuries, and up here in Dallas, right there by.
So are you?
Oh, thank you, Don. Excuse me for interrupting, but thank you, Don, for spreading the word There is a myth that's been perpetuated by a 30-something-year-old EPA map that had very little data to take advantage of, that says there is no radon in Texas, and as long as people don't test, there will never be any radon in Texas, at least that people know about.
Right.
So I'm glad you're finding some. Some of this is being spurred by multifamily testing that is required by HUD and Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. And so when those properties are getting financed, whether they're in Texas or not, they're getting tested. And guess what? Like,
so let me ask Don a question, and this is probably going to be good for everybody else. So Don, let me ask you a question. So you're doing radon testing right now, correct? If you can.
Yes.
And now you got probably a lot of realtors or people that don't believe radon is there. It's a myth. You know, it's a lot to do about nothing. I'm assuming, correct?
Correct.
Okay, here's what you can do. Because we had the same issue years and years ago until we did this. Start offering to do a free radon test at a realtor's house. Okay, now, yeah, it costs you a little bit of money to, go set the machine and pick it up, but then you're able to show them the levels. Now, obviously, if you're installing systems, not only, are you doing the testing, but you can make money installing the systems. But once you show realtors on their own house that they have high radon, and you show them, all the information about radon and the health effects and all that, and you educate them, then they're more likely to start recommending testing to their clients. Does that make sense?
It does. Absolutely.
So that's just an idea I have for you. All right. So listen, I want to show all you guys this. Can you guys see this right here?
Yes.
So what we did with, those units is we put our logo, our little sticker logo on there. So, if you're going to get these units, you can obviously, put your logo on them. And then if people have them in their house or they share them with a friend or whatever, your logo is getting passed around. So just a little idea if you get some of these units and you're using them.
So I want to make sure that if you are interested in, gosh, if you're on this webinar, if you're not already part of our referral club, all you need to do is go to our website and click on referral club. And there's a little short form to fill out. And David, who is on the call with us, will make sure that you're followed up with. You'll get a landing page that will not only have a referral code that you can give out to people and they can enter it, even if they go to our website, if they put your code in. But if they click from a button, which we'll give you the artwork for, that you can put on your website, and they click from there, and then they get into the purchase part, your code will automatically get put in when they get to the cart. And they'll see the discount that they're going to get, which will either be 5% off our regular price, or it will be a smidgen lower than whatever we have on Amazon in the event we're running a special deal on Amazon. So they're going to get the best deal available, and you're going to pick up that commission, and we just pay that out. You'll have a little dashboard that will just let you keep track of all your sales, and we'll pay you at the end of the month. But again, as Dave so well put, the key thing is you're out spreading the word. You're keeping in contact with customers. You're picking up other jobs. It's just a great way to provide an added service.
Right. And so here's, something we should time is running out on us, and we want to talk about, radon testing and radon mitigations. Here's something I want all of you guys to think about. If you're not doing testing now, you definitely need to. It's another revenue stream for you. So you definitely need to do that. But if you're doing testing, don't limit yourself to real estate transactions only. There's a lot more houses not for sale than are for sale right? So you need to market your radon services to everyone. And, January is National Radon Awareness Month, and you could do social media posts, you could do Facebook ads, you could do postcards to different neighborhoods that are really high. Like, so in my market, I know some neighborhoods are test low for radon and some are extremely high. So there's no reason not to send out, targeted postcards to people. So, if you're doing radon testing, don't just limit yourself to waiting for that real estate call. Okay, go out and market to the whole general public, and don't just market the testing, market the products that we've been talking about, and make money that way. Okay. Do you want to talk? Do you need to do we need to answer some questions that
I appreciate that. There's one that came in from Alex Snyder. He said he's in the referral club, but he hasn't set up the landing page yet or whatever. Then we take the blame for that. If you haven't got your landing page, then we drop the ball somehow. We need to make sure that you've got it. David I think is responding to you right now via the chat. But he will follow up with you to make sure that landing page is set up. Initially, I think when we first started Referral Club, we didn't have that quite as automated as we do now. But when you get in the program, that landing page with your unique code should be generated automatically. We'll send you not only all of the information on how to get that set up, we'll send you some resources as well. I see Lou Wirtz, who says an 11-month test gets him, a lot of radon work. Dave, let's see, where are you located, Lee? Or excuse me, Lee, or is it? No, my eyesight's failing me. It's Lou.
Right.
Where are you located?
So I'm located in northern Indiana. We service northern Indiana, Southwest Michigan. So South Bend, if you know where Notre Dame is, that's where we kind of started our company, South Bend, Mishawaka. We have a location in Fort Wayne, and so that's that's where we're located. And to Lou's point, 11-month inspections, that's a great way to try and sell extra services, whether it be inspections or testing. One of the things that we do is when we install radon systems, and we need to probably get into this a little bit, starting a radon company and the things that you can do to make money with your radon business. One of the things that we do that's unique is we give all of our clients, I want you guys to think about this, we give all of our clients a lifetime warranty with the radon mitigation system, parts and labor when we install it. And now a lot of you are thinking, well, how the heck do you do that and make money? Well, it's really simple. That warranty is subject to an annual test. So we make money doing that annual test, $150 what we charge. So now if I want you to think about this, the only thing that can really go wrong with the system for the most part is that fan can go out, right? That fan can burn up. And those fans come with a 5-year manufacturer warranty. We use Radon Away fans, but they come with a 5-year manufacturer warranty. So if you think about it, I'm telling everyone, hey, parts and labor for life, get an annual test. So if they test every year for 5 years, that's $750 in income that we created. Now, if that fan goes out within the first 5 years, I get a new one for free. So it takes me 15 minutes to swap one out, no big deal. And I got $750. But if the fan, say the fan goes out in year 7, okay, and they keep their warranty in place, well, now think about how much money I made, 7 times 150, and I only have to pay maybe $150 for that fan, or $180, depending on, what fan model we're going with. So if you're going to get into doing radon mitigations and you want to stand up and above your competition, there's different things that you can do, and offering a lifetime warranty with all of your installs is a way to set yourself apart from your competitors.
Yeah, Dave, I'll share with you. We also have a lot of customers now who are using the EcoGuard, where they're actually placing out one of those EcoGuard units, which looks like a cube, and they're monitoring it from their dashboard and making that as part of their warranty. And they still go out and do an annual visit, but they've got the data there that they can see all the time. They send out a monthly report. to their clients as part of the service. So every 30 days, they get a full report. So a lot of mitigators are starting to see the advantage of including that in their warranty as well.
Right. So Dallas, I know that we had like some questions submitted when people registered. I think we should go through those questions real quick. And then I think we should talk about, the basics of starting a radon, mitigation business. And we may go over a few minutes, but that's okay. I have time if you have time. But I think we should answer those questions and then go over the basics of doing a radon mitigation company.
So let me call on David here. David, do you have those questions handy with you?
Yes, I do. 1 second.
While David's looking those up, I'll just, since we were talking about Referral Club, I kind of kept scrolling through some slides there, but you can see we can put together ads for you to put on your website. You can put together flyers to give to your clients. We have an industrious radon tester in Maryland who not only sends people to her website for the Referral Club, but she hands out a little 5x7 card stock with a little promo and the code on it with to all our clients. Remember that if a client has let's say you do a home inspection and the radon test with your RadonEye Pro, and the results are 4 or higher, then it's going to get mitigated. And you need to make sure you're the one to solicit that post-mitigation clearance test with that buyer. And the reason they want you to come back is because you can check out the system and make sure that it meets the standard, but you can while you're there doing that post-mitigation test and clicking for that, it's a good opportunity to let them know, well, fine, it looks good for these 2 days, but radon concentrations are always fluctuating. And let's see how it's going to do over the long haul as the season change and you start running the heat or the air conditioning and so forth. We need to get you either on our monitoring service through EcoGuard, or at the very least, let's get you in an EcoCube where you can track your concentrations for as long as possible.
Let me tell you how to sell that easier and quicker than what Dallas said. So just tell your clients, hey, listen, our radon test is really just a snapshot in time, and radon levels can change from season to season, and weather conditions could change it. So we're only able to do a 2-day test on the real estate transaction. We recommend longer term testing. I have a unit right here that you can own for $163, right? And then you sell the unit to them and just remind them that if it comes back high, you offer the mitigation service. So that's kind of what we do.
Having one in hand is always good. I appreciate that.
All right.
What you got, David?
All right. So we have about 4 questions here. First question is from Jay Freestone. In your opinion, what should an inspection company net as a percentage for inspections and ancillary services?
Yeah, let me take that one, Dallas. So here's the thing.
I hope so.
Here's the thing, as a business owner, we want to do as much business as we can, whether it be home inspection business or radon business or pest control business or, mold business, whatever. So my advice to everyone listening to this call is diversify your business. As a matter of fact, our company started as a pest control company. We started with $1,000 in a 12x12 room, and we do $1 million in pest control sales a year. And we do much more than that doing home inspections, but we diversified our pest control business by offering home inspections. And then we diversified the home inspections by doing radon and then mold. And now we have sales verticals that are producing hundreds of thousands to, millions of dollars a year, right? So my answer to that is there's no magic percentage. You just want to do as much business as you can on all your sales verticals, and you want to have as many sales verticals as you can in your business. Do not get pigeonholed into just doing one thing, okay? And when you create these ancillary businesses, learn from a mistake that we made. We didn't actually start a separate business. So we're talking about the basics of radon mitigation companies. Start a different legal entity. You can call it, a different name, whatever you want to do. There's lots of reasons to start your own separate legal entity. And one of them being is, what if you want to sell your home inspection business and keep the radon business? Or what if your radon business gets really big and you want to sell that and keep your home inspection business, right? So when you start a radon business or a different sales vertical, start a different legal entity and grow that as much as you can. And when you're growing your sales verticals, I mean, when it comes to home inspections, we're kind of like stuck, and married to real estate transactions, maybe 11th month inspections, things like that, maybe a pre-listing inspection. We're kind of married to that. But when you're doing it like a radon mitigation business, you're not just married to real estate transactions. You can go out and get work from the general public. And I'm going to tell you right now, we do hundreds and hundreds of thousands a year in radon mitigation business, and not the majority of that is from the general public. It's not just from the real estate transactions. Okay.
Thank you. What's the next question, David?
All right, next question. Radon testing in commercial applications by Zach Lewis.
All right. Well, first of all, if you're going to do commercial, or let's say you're going to expand into multifamily testing, then the market there is driven primarily by tests that are part of real estate transactions for multifamily properties. HUD through their FHA loan program, and Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac require radon testing. There is a standard for doing that kind of radon testing. You'll need to go to the standards.arst.org website, and you can scroll through and find the multifamily testing as well as the multifamily mitigation standard. If you're interested in that kind of work, then you certainly want to look at those standards before you jump in with both feet. There are large companies in that arena, but a lot of those large companies that do those phase 1 environmental assessments are looking for local testers who can also do multifamily testing to subcontract that work to. So if you're interested in that, that's certainly an opportunity, but you do need to follow the standards for testing that kind of property. HUD requires, and Fannie Mae, I think, and Freddie Mac are following suit, that you not only be state licensed if you're in a licensed state, but that you also have an NRPP certification. They want some consistency with people that know those standards and are agreeing to follow them, at least as much as they do. Yeah.
Great.
David?
All right, question number 3. Oops, sorry, 1 second. Question number 3 is how to keep realtors from discouraging radon tests in our Southern California area by William Kading. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, I think Dave brought up a good answer for that already.
Right. I was just going to go back to that. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say, you need to, I always recommend, and if you want to get some verbiage for that, you can also go to the ARST website and look under the radon warning statement. But anything you can put in your inspection agreement that says that the EPA and the Surgeon General and the state health department, and all the state health departments do recommend to all home buyers test for radon. And they don't say all home buyers except for the ones in California. If you put that in your inspection agreement and have them sign off that they either want the test for an additional fee or whatever you charge, or initial that they choose not to have the test for and assume all the liability, then there's something about having to read that and put an initial by it that has them think about it a little more. I would certainly suggest that. I don't know, Dave.
It's really about educating them, and having the documentation from governmental sources will definitely help. But listen, in all practicality, guys, that some real estate agents, not all, it's just, we're that necessary evil for them sometimes, and anything extra that we do is just another problem that they have to deal with. And there's just going to be some agents out there that, honest to goodness, they just care about a commission check more than their client's well-being. And that's the nature of the business, right? But there's also a lot of agents that are not that way. There's a ton of agents out there that care about their client's best interest more than anything else. And so my answer is, you got to educate the real estate community about the real health hazards, and then you got to prove it to them. So start doing some free tests for them on their own houses and find out. And who knows, you may be in a market where the radon levels are actually low and they're good, or you might be in one that they're really high. So the only way to know is to do a lot more testing and to actually do some tests on their own house and educate them about those radon levels. Okay.
Yeah, I see more and more inspectors that are discovering something I recommend, and that is the radon report cards, which you can get from the ARST website. This one I pulled up Indiana because Dave's in Indiana, but you can see all of these state report cards will show you the number of tests in the CDC database in the particular state, and then we'll give you the percentage of them that were tested at 4 or higher. If you look over here on the left, you can see California is one of those states. All the states, have a state report card. So you may want to take a look at that. Obviously, you're not going to have as many tests performed in California.
Click on California real quick. Click on California real quick.
Well, let me see if it's going to let me go there and switch. If I go there, can you see it? I guess it didn't. Let me go ahead. I'll stop the share and I'll pull it up.
That's all right. You can check it out later. Okay. Is there another question, Dave? Because we got to get into mitigations real quick.
Yeah, why don't we cover all those?
Yeah, we covered all those. There is one question in the chat. Someone asked, did you say they said, please clarify, did you say your line of equipment is the only true accurate radon testing on the market, or did I mishear that?
No, I never said it's the only true accurate radon testing on the market. No, I want to make sure I'm clear. Look, there are devices out there that have a much lower counting efficiency, and after they've been there for 2 days, they're going to hit the target. If you're looking for the average radon concentration for the 2 or 3 day period or the longer period, then yes, they can hit the target concentration for that average. What they're not going to be very good at oftentimes is being able to give you hourly readings that are accurate. Okay,
right.
That's the point.
So the whole thing is to think about, guys, is, it's common sense. What's more accurate? Something that's measuring 30 times an hour or something that's measuring 4 times an hour?
Yeah. And that's the thing is, if we're able to average 30 counts an hour for every picocurie per liter, then we're going to be able to record 120 radioactive events at a 4 picocurie per liter concentration, where they're the most popular professional units out there are getting 3 or 4 counts per hour for every picocurie per liter on average. So at they're getting 12 to 16 counts at 4 picocuries per liter are all the radioactive events that you're going to see. So what you're losing is the integrity of those 1 hour readings. If you're just looking for an average concentration, I always say, well, charcoal canister will give you that. But if you're wanting to have the advantage of hourly readings where you can see what's going on from 1 hour to the next, and then that's the advantage of having a quality sensor that can give you that kind of counting efficiency.
Right. So, okay, let's get on to, I know we're almost at our hour. I don't mind going a little bit longer. So starting a radon mitigation company, guys, I alluded to it earlier. You want to get into the business. You want to, do mitigations. Every state's different, right? So the number one thing you have to do is you got to start with the state. You got to find out what the state requires. And whether you're like Michigan, they may not require anything. Well, that doesn't mean you should go out and just start installing systems, right? You should still get as much training and education as you can, and you should pass the test from the national organizations. And you have ARST rules, and that you should follow NRPP stuff or NRSB. Does NRSB follow the same rules in general, Dallas?
They just adopted this past year the ANSI standards, because more and more of the states have done that. So they are at least on the same page now as far as standards that they point to. Yes.
Right. So there's a couple different organizations you can join, just kind of like you have ASHI and INTRNACHI, you have NRSB and NRPP, right? So you do your own research, see what you want to, sign up for, join both if you want, whatever, it doesn't matter. But whether your state requires training or not, you should definitely go through and take the classes, pass the test, carry the insurance, all that stuff. And then I recommend that you start your own separate legal entity, your own separate company, call it whatever you want. But I would recommend that. We didn't do that at Aardvark, and looking back, it's kind of a mistake. Now we could always spin it off, but at this point, it is what it is. But there's lots of different reasons to start off a different separate entity. We won't go through that. Okay. And then once you've got your training and licensing and insurance, and what you're doing, at that point you need the equipment, right? And so we have a small truck. If you go to aardvarkinspect.com and look at the About Us page, you can see what my Radon vehicle looks like, how we have it logoed and all that stuff. And so there's certain equipment that you're going to need on that truck. Ladders, obviously, because you're going to have to run the system up the outside of the house, or get into an attic space and get on a roof and go through a roof and all that. So obviously you need the right ladders for the job. You're going to need drills, like hand tools, sawzalls, drills. You're going to need something to get you through the concrete. So we use a hammer drill. It weighs about 50 pounds. And I actually have a video. Dallas, do you have the link to my video? If not, guys, listen, this is what you do. Google or YouTube, go to YouTube and search Dave Klima Radon Mitigation System, right? Should pop up. I have a 10-minute video there that will actually show you step by step of how we install a system and why we do it the way we do it, and the kind of the tricks of the trade. Okay. So that's a good place to actually learn, hands-on type of learning in a way, because you're going to be with me step by step of what we do and how we do it. So watch that. But anyway, back to the tools, basic hand tools, the screwdrivers, the drills, the hole saws, the whole 9 yards. And then once you have all the tools that you think you need a supplier for your radon material. So where are you going to get your fans, and where are you going to get your manometers, and where are you going to get your audible alarms, and the whole 9 yards, where are you going to get your vapor barrier if there's a crawl space. So we get all of our stuff from RadonEye. They actually have a location in Indiana, which is nice. So it only takes us a day to get stuff shipped to us. But we use RadonEye. And Dallas, do you have some other suppliers or companies that?
Oh yeah, PDS Supply out of Colorado has all sorts of equipment for mitigators, and they're a great company to deal with. Professional Supply, the one in New Jersey, I've forgotten their name. Also treat people very well. Joe Ganguza there. Yeah, there's some good supply companies out there. My recommendation is find one, make a friend there, insist that they treat you well, and they will.
Right.
They want your business.
And here's one of the things I like about RadonEye. They have technical support there. They actually have guys that have installed systems for a living. And when you're first getting in the business, you're like, okay, what fans do I need to order? Right. And so every market's different, and every fan works better in different situations. So, for us, if we're tapping into a perimeter drain tile system, maybe an RP 145 is a really good unit to use. Or if we're tapping into the ground and we're sucking air just from the soil, maybe a GX4 fan is our go-to fan. So every market is a little bit different. Soil conditions are different, but you want to connect with a company that has an expert on staff that can walk you through the different fans and the fan curves and how they work, and all that kind of stuff, right? It's almost like your supplier is an extended business partner in a way.
Yeah, I'll just say that I've dealt with the people at Fantech and the people at Festa, and they all have people that were very willing to help you with the fans that they sell, and coach you on how to choose the right fans. But the really important thing is when you're going through training, you also pay attention and get the training from someone who can, help you learn about how to size fans appropriately based on your diagnostics, and because there are a lot of good reasons to do that.
Right.
Make sure.
Now, so listen, I'm going to teach you how starting a radon mitigation company can help you grow your inspection business. So imagine this. Imagine you have a realtor out there that has never really used you. They never send you business. They send all their inspection business to someone else, right? Well, somewhere down the line, they're going to have a listing that needs a radon system installed. Okay. And so they're always looking for different mitigators. So maybe you can, give a bid on that house and they're like, hey, I'll try this radon company or whatever. So now you start doing radon mitigations for this realtor. She loves the work you're doing or whatever. This has happened. Okay. This real life experience. So now you're building a relationship with that realtor because you're installing radon mitigations on her listings. Well, the next thing you know, that relationship blossoms, and now you might start doing the home inspections for that realtor. So by offering different services, whether it's pest control services, wood destroying insect inspections, or termite treatments, you're able to build a relationship with agents who are not sending you inspection business. Same thing with the radon business. You're able to start doing radon systems as part of real estate transactions on houses that you've never inspected. And guess what? You're building relationships with those agents. All right. They didn't use you for the inspection. They didn't use you for the test, but you got an order for them to install the system. That's your opportunity to impress them and, talk to them about all the other services that you offer. Okay. So there's a lot of benefits to starting a radon system. I know we're over time, but the basics are find out what your state needs. Make sure you get all the training, the classes, pass all the tests, make sure you get the insurance, start a separate legal entity, obviously, and then get the right equipment for the job, connect yourself with the right supplier for those things. Watch that video, Dave Klima, YouTube me, installing a radon mitigation system. Watch that. That's going to help show you step by step of what installing a system is like. So
Yeah.
are there any closing questions that we need to answer?
I think I've got most of them already. I was typing some answers there for some that came in via chat. There's if you'll just Google Dave Klima's radon mitigation video on YouTube, you'll find it right away. It comes right up. A couple things I want to show you before we get out of here. Back to the detector efficiency. And I don't want to, get into math here this late at night, but basically, because we're getting such a high detector efficiency, then you can count on our 1 hour readings at a 4 picocurie per liter radon concentration, 95% sure that they're between 3.3 and 4.7. That's just for 1 hour, just for 1 hour. If you're looking at a 4 picocurie per liter reading with a RadonEye Pro for 48 hours, then you're 95% confident that it's going to be between a 3.9 and a 4.1. So that's what I'm referring to as accuracy. But you can look at a unit that only gives you 2.7 counts per hour per picocurie per liter, and that 1 hour reading at 4 picocuries per liter, the error means that it's going to be between 1.4 and 6.6. So you're just losing the integrity of the 1 hour reading when you can only do that. But you see how much better it gets when you leave it for 48 hours. A 48-hour test, even with that counting efficiency at a true 4 picocuries per liter, if it's reporting 4, you can be 95% sure it falls between 3.6 and 4.4. So that's the distinction I was referring to. And then I want to close with this because I really appreciate everybody being with us tonight. Got a special deal if you'd like to take advantage of it. If you'd like to get a set of EcoTrackers, then if you'll go into our website and put in Dallas 10 off, then we'll knock $99.90 off that price. And so you get a great savings there. That will be good until midnight Pacific time. Okay, so this is a short fuse. So if you want to jump on that deal, then jump on it, before you go to bed tonight. Same thing with a RadonEye Pro. If you put in the code Dallas95, then you'll get the RadonEye Pro reduced from $795 down to $700. Again, that's good until until just before midnight Pacific time. So you still got some time to jump on that. Hope you'll take advantage of it. If you're interested in buying, 3 or more, then call David at that number and he'll make you a special deal.
So Dallas, where were you 2 days ago when I just ordered 2 more units?
There you go. See, needed to come to the webinar. Like to reward people for spending time. Listen, thank you so much, Dave Klima, for being with us tonight.
Yeah. I got one last thing, Dallas.
Yeah.
Listen, all you guys that were on this, if you want to pick my brain more, because I know, look, an hour and 15 minutes, not a lot of time. You want to pick my brain some more about, launching your radon mitigation business. Make sure you private message me on Facebook, friend request me, whatever you want to do. And then also, for some of you people that were really frustrated with the realtors advising their clients to skip home inspections, go to my personal Facebook page and look at the post that I wrote tonight. And if you want to share that, feel free to do it. I think that you might like what I wrote. So Dallas, thank you so much for having me on. I'm honored and humbled that you chose me to be your panelist tonight.
I appreciate it. I tell you what, I just got a note that there's an anonymous attendee who says to put put our special on his forum. I'm going to check this out, and maybe we'll get that up for you where you can be just a little longer. So stay tuned for that. I think we've got all the questions answered. So thank you so much for attending. Keep an eye out because we have some webinars coming up in next month. And you'll want to be there because we always offer deals. We always have great guests like Dave. So again, thanks for joining us.